Okay, I'm back. I'm in World of Flowers again. This is a current to date item on Amazon and in several of your local stores. I've actually put a file folder, just an old file folder, behind the page I'm working on to help protect it from not indenting into the next page. Now, the only problem I have found with this new light that I'm using that's right across here is that my book can't go down because the lampstand is right there. So I am going to turn sideways, which should not be a huge problem for us. I am going to zoom in. Actually, can I turn it back now? I can, looky there. So, I am going to be working on this one bloom today. Now, I have seen some people doing this where it's light on the inside and then dark on the edges, which makes it look like the petals are coming up like this. See how my hand is darker right here and light on the edges? What if our bloom, what if the petal is actually doing this? It's coming up. Okay, hang on a sec. It's coming up and then curves and then goes back down. Maybe at the edge it comes back up again. Do you see how it's a little darker here and lighter here and here? Okay, so if that petal ripples the other direction, then we're going to get what I have started coloring already. We are going to get that darker at the base, lighter as it hits the top, darker, see where it's a little darker here at the bottom, and then if it flips back up again, then it's going to be lighter again on this edge. Hence the dark, light, dark, and then just on the tip of this one, I let it flip up again. On these, I kept it going down. So I very seldom will use black on a flower, but I did pull a black pencil. Any black's going to do, okay? My other two colors I'm using are 507 Lavender Gray, and this is the Colorya series. And then also from Colorya, I grabbed Amethyst 574, okay? Now, I'm going to start in the center, and actually, yeah, I'm going to start in the center of each petal, okay? That light area that swirls around there, and just do it lightly as I talk to you about pencils. Somebody had a very, very good question. They asked how I know which pencils I'm going to use, and which pencil set or brand. A lot of times it depends on the paper I'm using. Okay, see, I did that center section. And then this is a flip, so I'm going to also do the flip. So anyway, and stay tuned till the end. I'm going to talk about the tutorials that are coming up in the next few weeks or the next few lessons. Okay, so back to the pencils. There are certain papers that I find just don't take certain pencils, okay? I find that sometimes there's just too much tooth in the paper and it takes forever to get it all worn down. I find that sometimes paper is so smooth that it covers almost immediately and I can't layer. So in a lot of books, including this one in the back, there is a place where you can play with the pencils on the paper to see how it's going to react. Okay? So that being what it is, I can play with those pencils, see how it's going to react and stuff, and then go from there. I do have some of my pencils that are all mixed together. As a set runs down more, I'm adding it to my mixed sets. And those are I just pick those by color. if I'm using those. Okay, I am going to change over to my second color, the amethyst. And I'm going to start around this center area so I can keep chatting with you for a minute. So like there was a while that I went back to my Prismacolors and I used them. And to be honest with you, I got frustrated because I was used to using pencils with a harder lead. I'm trying to figure out how to keep my hand out of the picture for you. Let me go this way. I'm just trying to get right up here next to all these little circles. So let me just do that real quick. And then I can worry about getting my hand out of the way. Now I'm going to do harder pressure here and lighter as I go out so that it will blend. So, yeah, so I got frustrated with my Prismacolors and just put them away again. And I do that from time to time because I am heavy-handed. Okay, see what I did right there? I moved my hand back up on the pencil. It's because I want to get lighter, and I know I have a heavy touch. So this helps me to not be able to push as hard on the pencil. Okay, I can't push as hard on that lead or I will snap it. And so that makes me have to have that lighter pressure. Okay? So now I'm also going to go around here because this petal is on top of this petal. So I'm going to come on around and I'll just go right there. And then I'll start blending that out. Blending that right into that lighter shade. So as far as which pencils, I would say use that extra paper in the front or back of your book, your title page, your last page, whatever it is. See if your pencils are playing nice with the paper or not, and then really just go from there to pick and choose. I've got a book that I just use Crayola pencils in because Crayola is working better. I've got some books that I can use anything I want to in, and they just work great. So sometimes I'll just pull all my mixed pencils because there's so many different shades and just go with those. All right. Now, do you remember when we did ruffly petals? I think it was a red flower, and we looked for where this V was. And that's where there's a little ruffle. So I want to go ahead and make sure that I am dark and go down in a triangular shape. Okay. I did it a little bit right here, even though there's light on the tips. I did a bit of it right here. I'll do it over here on these. And like I said earlier, it's not often that I will use black on a flower, but I'm going to on this. You're going to see where that's super dark right here and up against the edge. And I did not have a darker purple than this, so I ended up just grabbing a black pencil. Okay? And as long as you're not being really, really hard with your black where it's taking over, then it's okay to do that. You'll be okay. So lots of information there. Let's see what else is going on. Oh, see, father-in-law fell in the backyard. He thought he would help with the tree limbs, and he's okay, but he looks like he was in a car wreck. Just looks really bad. So for y'all that have been keeping up with them and how to pray for us, that's one for the books. And the weird thing was we didn't even know it until we got a phone call from the lady that comes in and helps care for them. They didn't bother to call anybody, just, yep. So anyway, I'm going to come back in with my lightest shade now, and I'm going to go through this area, and then I'm going to blend from the light into the dark. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm going to have to stand up and see if my hand is out of your way. Okay, yeah, you can kind of, let me move my arm around so I'm not blocking the light. I'm going from the light into the dark. Okay, if I were to just go this way, it would pull that dark into the light, and I really don't want to do that. But I can go up here and blend all I want. Okay, I can go out here and blend around. Okay, and I will sit and do more blending until it looks nicer like this. I don't want to spend the whole time on this, but you get the idea. It's just a matter of making those little circles and just blending the colors, coming back in again, and just, as Fern would say, adding those layers, keeping it soft. Just keep adding layers till you get it all covered. And I guess I should do one of these completely. I'd rather you see this done completely and miss this, because at least you'll know how I'm getting the look I'm getting. And the main lesson on this one is just seeing that the ripple doesn't always mean light in the middle or light on the outside. You can do both, and that's how you get that other kind of ripple, that ruffle, so to speak. All right, so in the mail, okay, today is Sunday, so you will be watching this on Wednesday. Tomorrow, I should be getting an international package from a company that I ordered from, which is going to be some supplies that are new to me to share online with you, to show you some new backgrounds that I'm working on. Okay? So those classes, those tutorials, now this is black. This is where I'm going to come in right here and up at the front. Now, see here, I'm going to keep it ever so small, but just enough that it might look, hopefully, like there's a little ripple in there. Okay, and then I'm going to add it right up here, because this is on top of this one. So I'm adding the black at what would be right under. See, I added it here. I should have added here. I can add some here just to make that look like it's further down in there. Then I'll come back with my dark shade, whatever colors you're using, and I will come in and go over that again so that it's not black that you see the most, but that it's the purple over the top of that black. Okay? It's important that you layer your darker color on top of black so that you see the darker color and not just black. For you that do pray, I have a sweet friend that has just found out that her breast cancer is back, and she's going to have one side mastectomy at the end of this month. So be praying for her that the doctors can get it all. She is a Christian, very strong faith, and I just hate that she's going through this again. So, but this time they're just going to go ahead and take it, be done with it, hopefully. So prayers for her. Let's see what else is going on. We had our little Evie the other day, and she has definitely hit those 3s. So, yeah, which, can be a good thing. She's going to be a very strong-willed little child, but that's okay. She's just going to have to learn to control some of her temper, which we know as she gets through her 3s, it will be easier. There's just so much to learn when they're 3. There's so much they're experimenting. And see, I'm going back even now and deepening these edges. So you can see my page isn't really finished. remember what I tell you, it's not finished until you stop working on it. And sometimes it can look like a hot mess before it looks better. But see how that looks so much better than this? It looks like it's tucked down in there. That's the look that we're after, okay? So just that area and beefing these up a little bit took almost 15 minutes. So coloring is not a quick, easy. It's going to take time. So don't get yourself in a rush. Don't be panicked. Now, we've gone over these little areas here that are rippled. So I'm not going to go over that. I am going to go over this area again because some of you may have missed the videos with the fold over. So what I'm going to do is my darkest shade is going to come right under that flip. Okay? What happens is that flip is leaving a bit of a shadow. Look at my hand. Don't look at my fingernails. I know. I'm a crafter, so they're never pretty. So see the flip? See where it's dark right under the edge? And that's even with my light right there. So when you have a flip on a flower, it's going to have the shadow right there. So here's my flip. There's my shadow. And then I am going to blend this out though. I won't leave just a stark line showing. Okay, I should start talking about my package. I already have some ink. I have inks that are stamp pads, and I have inks that are the, oh, what are they called? They're laying right here. Hang on a sec. The, oh, I can't see the name from where I am. Okay, I'll think of it in a minute. Ink tints. The ink tints pencils, so they're not watercolor, but they work like a watercolor pencil, but it's ink. So once they're dry, they're dry. You can re-wet it and it's not going anywhere. So what that means is that you can come in, okay, I'm going to go dark right here because it's on this petal is under this petal. And I'll go dark just at the ends and on the very edge, but just barely. And it'll give the effect that it's rolled. I know I jump all over the place with my conversations, but you're catching it. So anyway, so I've got my ink tints. I do have some watercolors. I have, and see this ripple right here? So I'm going to go right down beside that, but I'm going to keep it kind of light. I know that looks heavy, but it's not as heavy as this right here. So, I'm thinking I can't talk about that and do this at the same time, right? So I've got stencils, I've got stamps, I've got some texture pads, I've got some chalks, I've got just all kinds of things that I am going to start introducing you to and showing you, and I'm going to start doing some backgrounds on some pages using my supplies. Now, some of my supplies are old. I got my chalk pastels back when I worked at Michael's umpteen years ago when they were $4.99 a box. Okay? So, and I'm not saying you have to go out and buy all these supplies. You can use eyeshadow instead of chalk pastels. And we're going to talk about all that. We're going to talk about how you can add to your pages without forking out a lot of money. Can you make your own stencils? Yes, we're going to talk about it. I've made many stencils. If you have a Cricut maker, a Cameo, any of those kind of machines, that's going to help. If you don't have a friend that does, that's going to help. Can you borrow a machine somewhere? Yes, and I'm going to tell you about that. So be thinking of your questions. Go ahead and start writing them out. And then as I post those videos, if I don't hit what your questions are on, you post them, because I'm going to keep making videos on and off for a few times. okay, until we can get to everybody's questions. Now see how that's looking pretty good. So, oh, it's going to look better yet before I'm finished. So, yeah, so I think we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to be talking about where you can add backgrounds. Why would you want to add a background? What's the difference in a page before and after? Do we need to seal it? Just all the things. Oh, see, I like that. Okay, so you're just going to keep working this flower until you get it finished. But you see how it's got different ripples. Yeah, I've wandered across there as I'm coloring. But yeah, you're just going to keep working these now. I've got the color in there. Now I just need to do the blend. And see, you can see here where I went under, just like here. Whichever one is on top, it gets done underneath on the next one. I could add a little bit more there. I've done there. I've done some here. And anytime you're wondering about a page, did I do enough? Does it look right? Take a picture of it and look at the picture. Blow it up between your fingers and look at it. See what it looks like, because you're not looking at it straight on. It's actually going to look a little different. Take your book to the bathroom under the good makeup lights. Look at it. See what it looks like. Okay? Because then you're not right up on it like you are here. You're looking at it like that. And you're going, ooh, that does look pretty good. But I see that it's darker here and not as dark here. So maybe I'll go back and make these edges darker. Okay? So as you're doing your picture, you can even squint your eyes and look at your picture. If it looks like it's all one color, you don't have enough depth on that picture. Make some of your lights lighter, some of your darks darker. If that means coming in with an eraser and just lifting some of that color, look at that, see? Then go ahead and do that. If it means taking your pencil in there, making some of your darks darker, then do that. But remember, we've talked about the eraser before, how the eraser can be your friend. Don't be afraid to attack a page with the eraser. You can always come back in and make it darker. Okay? So anyway, that's all I'm going to do on this for now. You can finish up on your own. I've shown you the basics. But I do want you to be sure and stick around, because the class after this, our next tutorial, is going to be starting to look at my stencils, my stamps, anything, texture pads, anything that we can slap some ink or pencil or marker or watercolor or anything on and get a print. We're going to be doing it. Chalks with makeup brushes, just all sorts of things, y'all. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be in a spot where you can't do it on the living room chair like I'm used to coloring. You're going to have to be set up somewhere where you can be messy and have a big area to work on. But it's going to be fun, and hopefully you'll learn something. All right? Thank you so much for stopping by, and I will be back in a few days. All right, thanks. Bye-bye.